Hello, everybody. It's Tuesday, and welcome to Heading Back to the Window with Scott and Scott. I am half of the Scotts. I am Scott Steen. I am the lead handicapper at winnersandwhiners.com.
And I'm your co-host, Scott Reichel, senior handicapper over at winnersandwhiners.com.
And together, we make up Heading Back to the Window. Good to be here on a Tuesday, a brisk, clear Tuesday here in Missouri. Scott, how's the weather there in Long Island?
It's okay. Bit cloudy. I want to say it's somewhere in the 50s. So it's not cold. It's not exactly summer anymore. So I think we're firmly into fall, not winter.
Being an old guy, Scott, I am forced to talk about the weather for at least 15 minutes each and every day. I'm sorry, it's in the contract. Sometimes you are the unlucky recipient of that.
Now, as an older person, do you get your weather information via phone or via newspaper from the morning?
I do not read the newspaper anymore. Sorry. It
Okay.
is. I do online. It's the Underman says, "Ahoy! What's up, man?" He's the. I think the Underman is always joining us on Twitch, so it's good to see the Twitchers out there. You a Twitcher, Scott? Did you ever game on Twitch or anything?
I never actually had a stream or anything. I used to watch some poker streamers on Twitch just to try to pick up some stuff, but no, as a whole, I feel like Twitch would be something I'd be decent at just because as long as you have any activity going on and you're just talking in the background, which I'm sure both of us like to do, I think we would do fine. But my computer is, how do we put this, old and probably not optimal for Twitch streaming. So no, I've never actually done that.
Yeah, I know my son does a lot of Twitch stuff, and he built his computer with the help of his buddy who's a computer geek guy, and they
he built a computer. I had a couple of friends who built computers.
Yeah, I mean they had they put all kinds of super cards in and shit to do all their gaming stuff. So yeah, I don't go all for the Twitchy stuff. I watch some of his streams sometime, and honestly, the gamer streams bore me to tears. Now, he does some fun stuff with his buddies, like food stuff and food and sports stuff. Anyway,
I've dabbled with the poker streams, but I haven't been on Twitch in months.
I get it. Yep, Twitch is, and I know there's a lot of cool stuff on Twitch. There's just so many things you could be doing that I just don't need anything else to take up chunks of my time. You know,
I like Twitch because it just provides you endless content. So if you're tired of refreshing the YouTube subscription feed and you have nothing there, there's usually something going on Twitch that you can just watch live.
Do you do TikTok, Scott? Do you watch TikTok too?
I've never been on TikTok. I went on TikTok once for, I think, a minute.
Yeah?
I tried to watch like one or two videos, and I said, what is this? And I just deleted it immediately. I never got into it. No.
I think we're going to start doing like sports betting stuff on TikTok.
We can. Do I have to do a stupid dance with that?
Yeah, you and I have to make up our own dance. That's the whole rule. That's the whole thing of TikTok.
That's the whole thing? Is it a sack dance? Because the Chiefs don't get many sacks.
No, the Chiefs don't get any sacks. Let's talk about that game. Good to see Michelle in the house, by the way. Welcome aboard to Michelle. It was. We got to talk about this, Scott. It was, it was a weird game. It started off well. We had, full disclosure, I sent out the Chiefs -10 to my clients. I thought that Andy Reid would have this team ready. I thought the extra day of prep would make a difference. All the team was saying the right thing. They seemed to be on the right page. I thought they'd come out with a new purpose and kind of refocused, and they looked really good at that first drive. They were doing exactly what they needed to do, throwing underneath, taking what the defense gave them, drove all the way down. And then they reverted back to the Chiefs of the first 7 games as Patrick Mahomes threw an ill-advised pass errantly.
Who was that pass to, by the way?
Josh
Was it to Gordon or the guy behind him?
I think it was to Gordon. Gordon reached his hand out and tipped it. It was behind him, went straight up in the air, and as is the case this year, it falls immediately into the hands of a defender. They never drop him, and yep, there you go.
Jones threw an interception 2 plays later, and the Chiefs scored anyway. But
right, and that was my free play of the day, by the way, was the Giants to score in their opening drive. Caught a great price on it. We got it at +178. It actually went up to +188, so we got ahead of the move. And he throws a pick on the second pass, on the second play from scrimmage for the Giants. So the best thing I can say about that play is we didn't have to wait around long to see how it did. It was just oh my God. And it was a horrific pass, just to nobody.
I didn't even see it. Truth is, I was writing an article for about the entire first half, so I missed the first half of whatever you want to call that football game.
Yeah.
That's probably a good thing for me.
Yeah, well, the second half was even uglier, but the first half
Yeah.
wasn't much.
I had no action. My only play was on the Clippers Thunder game. Picked up
Yep.
a winner and a team total. So that game was at 10:30. I did basically nothing until the actual basketball game started, just besides work. So I pivoted, won that. No action on the NFL game, so I can't
Yeah,
complain.
and I had another premium on that same game, and that was a play. As much as I hate to say it, with my home team playing, I liked the basketball play more. I thought that was if you'll pardon the expression, a slam dunk. I thought the Chiefs play was a good play. Thought the basketball play was a great play.
But
So
we both won on similar plays.
yeah,
You
you had
had
the
the
team
full
total
game
under, right?
under.
Full game
Yeah.
under, right?
So that was easy because the Clippers and the Thunder both not very good at basketball.
Dunderman brings up a great point, Scott, and I know we would eventually get to it, but it deserves to be brought up now. Chiefs are favorites next week against the Packers. Are you?
I've seen that line shifting. I saw it at 2.5, and now I see it's closer to pick 'em. So I think people have started to react accordingly.
Yeah.
I like Green Bay for the rest advantage anyway. You have one team that played on Thursday, probably getting Devontae Adams back, and the other team played on Monday night. So the rest advantage there is huge. I like Green Bay regardless.
And most importantly, one of those teams appears to be terrible.
Yes. That's a
I hate to
separate
say-
point.
I hate to say it, but objectively, if I watch this team like I watch other teams, they're middle of the pack at best.
You barely beat an NFC East team at home.
Yeah,
That's not good.
Horrible performance. So good to see. Corey Graves says fade USM Southern Miss. You talking about Corey? Because they're all that's.
I faded them earlier in the year. Remember, I had the Troy against them, and Southern Miss, I think, moved the ball maybe for a drive and a half. Did nothing for the rest of the game.
I think they jumped up and bit me one time, and I got off of them.
I had them twice. I had Troy beating Southern Miss. I think I had -9.5, and then I had Alabama first quarter -10 against USM. I think they were up 21-0 after the first quarter.
I'd sure like to know what happened to Troy this weekend. What happened to that defense?
It wasn't very great. It wasn't very good this past weekend.
No, and that had been an outstanding defense.
Who'd they play again?
I was just looking it up, man. If I could have had 8 more seconds.
I'm drawing a blank on who they played.
I am too, and I had it. They played. They played
Coastal on.
Yeah.
They covered.
They did, but I had the total. I had the under there. I thought there was going to be some defensive struggles, and I thought Troy wouldn't move the ball very well. That's the other thing with them. So, spent the weekend. JC Stowe spent the weekend in the losers' lounge. One beer on top, PBR liquor, Montezuma tequila, big screen, TV broadcasting, cornhole. Yeah, there you go. That's the life right there. Clippers robbed me of my 3-teamer. Had the Giants plus 13. That's a great number there. Under 55, another great number. And the Clippers -1. Oh, not good. Not good.
Wait, where did you lose? The Clippers won by 5.
Oh, yeah, the Clippers covered, didn't they?
Clippers won by 5.
They were down, but they ended up covering. That's right.
Unless you had the Clippers -11, you accidentally typed down -1. They covered the 1.
Yeah, they did because they went by 5, right?
Yeah, they won by 5. But anyway, we got a couple of games to talk about.
Yeah, let's get rolling here. Let's do it to it. We'll find out who took it in the shorts, who had a good day, who had a bad day. We already know some of the answers, but we'll find out the rest of them on today's Call the Cops. All right. I just thought I was going to yak for the whole show, Scott. Way to keep me on track there, buddy. Hey, in the NHL, if you had the Ottawa Senators and the Chicago Blackhawks under 6, you were looking great. 2-0 after 2 periods, 1 goal apiece. And then the wheels fell off if you had the under because they scored 2 goals in the first minute and 22, and they added 2 more by the time 7.5 minutes were gone from the third period. They didn't get any more, so you didn't lose, but that definitely feels like a push loss. If you had the under 6 in that hockey game, hey, man, call the cops.
And look at the second one. This is kind of an interesting prop that some sports books, some have started to add. It's kind of like no score first inning in baseball, but now they added it to football. And you can just get score or no score on the first drive of the football game. If you had score on the first drive in the Giants-Chiefs game, you're in good shape because the Chiefs have 3rd and goal at the 5-yard line. Incomplete pass or kicking a field goal, you still win. Chiefs interception. And you lose.
Brutal. Yeah, because we had obviously talked about the Giants. We had the Giants on the other side of that, and Yeah, that was two very different ways to lose that same bet. But good God, that would have been awful right there. As I felt bad enough having the Chiefs to cover to piss away a minimum of 3 points, likely 7 points right there. You're like, you know what? I bet we're going to need those later. And we would have. Hey, if you had the Bulls Celtics fourth quarter, a play after Scott's own heart. Fourth quarter over 53.5. The Bulls, they put up 39 in the fourth quarter, certainly doing their job. But the Celtics, WTF Celtics, they put up 12? No, 11. Good God. It landed 50 as the Bulls outscored them 39 39-11 in the fourth quarter. And if you had the over 53.5, call the cops.
That Celtics team, I was not a big fan of the coaching hire during the offseason.
Yeah.
They are bad late in games. Awful.
Yeah, that's awful. That is fading down the stretch.
Had a couple games against the Wizards they blew. We're going to talk about the Celtics in a little bit because we have something regarding one player's comments coming up later.
Right.
But when you're talking about new coaches and seeing who's good, who's bad, the Celtics' new coach, clearly not very good.
Not good. Not good at all. All right, the opposite of call the cops. These are the nice, easy wins. Good to see Brown's backer in the house, by the way. Speaking of easy wins, it's time for the rocking chair.
So the first one was on Monday Night Football. If you had the Giants and Chiefs under 53, you had 24 points at the half, 0 points in the third quarter. At that point, the over's dead, and the game ended 20-17.
Yep. Yeah, you had a little bit of hope there if you were on the over at 24-10. You're like, okay, we need a little help here. But then the third quarter, they just came out and fucked around. You're like, yep, that's what I thought. Hey, if you had the Cleveland Cavaliers over the Charlotte Hornets +5, the Cavs, they led by 19 after the first quarter. You got to feel you're in good shape, and you were. They never trailed. Got a little sketchy there in the fourth quarter, but they kept the lead, and they were able to maintain it, and they win the game 113-110. Cleveland Cavaliers +5. No sweat. You're in the rocking chair.
I don't know if that Cavs team's going to make the playoffs or not. I actually like that team as a whole. They play hard.
Didn't hate them last year. You could almost see it. If you squinted, you could see it every once in a while. And it's coming a little more into focus this year.
Mobley's been very good as a rookie, so he's definitely been a solid piece for them defensively. But looking at the last one, if you had the Pacers -1.5 against the Spurs, led by 22 at halftime and won by 13.
Yep. Nicely done there. Brownsbacker said he finally hit a bet with Boston. So, yeah. Bulls.
If you had the over, that was an easy one.
Jay Bake says Bulls so far have been his best NBA team to bet on. I think
they've been good.
Agree with that as well.
What DeRozan have last night? 37, I think. DeRozan went off last night.
I got to be honest with you, bud.
I think he had 37. They have a lot of talent though. They got DeRozan, Levine, Vucevic. People like that Bulls team with the moves they made during the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
That team's pretty good.
Yep, agreed. All right, well, we had a couple of options here. There's couple we're going to talk about. We did narrow it down. I think this is a pretty good one right here. Let's find out who's wearing the golden feed bag. Who is the donkey of the day? All right, Scott, go ahead.
So we're going to go back to the Boston Celtics. And after the massive collapse in the fourth quarter, once again being outscored 39-11 in the fourth quarter, you had Marcus Smart, who is viewed as a team leader, quote unquote. First of all, congrats to him. He actually made the flight to the game after the preseason where he missed the flight.
That'll never get old to you, will it?
It will not. But anyway, he ended up criticizing politely, but still, he put it on notice that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, two of the best players on the Celtics, are not exactly good at passing the ball. And Marcus Smart said, for future reference, teams are scouting on them and they should try to find open teammates. Basically what he said, kind of just get everyone else involved. The issue with that is that Marcus Smart is no one to talk, because Marcus Smart this season is shooting 29.3% from the floor and 28.2% from three. So my question is, if you want them to pass the ball, I'm assuming you mean to other people, not including yourself, right? Because if you're shooting below 30%, I don't think you're in any position to criticize the other players on the team.
No.
Is that fair?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You can't. You've got to if you're going to posture like that, you better be able to walk the walk, right?
I think so, especially if you consider yourself a leader who just signed a contract extension.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little bit interesting you chose to mention that in a press conference instead of talking to them behind closed doors. I don't know what exactly the positive is. You get both of the superstars under the public scrutiny and hope they make adjustments. Why can't you talk about it in the locker room?
Well, and if you're going to serve a big cake like that, you better be eating most of it yourself. You better start that statement with, I know there's nobody more to blame than me. I've had a subpar season, but also these guys, blah blah blah. If you wanted to do it that way, I guess that would be a little bit better. But there's just no good that goes down that road.
Also, Smart's the starting point guard. He's averaging 4 assists per game.
Yeah.
Maybe you could pass the ball more too,
Yeah, perhaps. Scott, do you do anything with MLS? I know you're a soccer guy.
I root for the Red Bulls, who were pretty awful for the first couple of months. They've actually been decent lately. When it comes to MLS, I really don't get that involved with it. If I was going to bet it, which I have not because I'm not that involved, I'd probably look at totals, mostly involving the Galaxy, LAFC, those teams. I know Atlanta used to be very good. Martinez had the knee issue, so I'm not sure if they are backable anymore. But for MLS, I follow from a distance. I really get interested when the Red Bulls are really good. This year, they've kind of been hovering in postseason purgatory, where they're not bad enough to tank, but they're not good enough to fully be in the field. So I'm kind of just following it from a distance.
Very good. And somebody wanted to know if you had something on Ball State.
Well, I mentioned a couple of weeks ago I had Ball State beating Eastern Michigan, and they won that. As for the game tonight, we'll talk about it. I'm not taking Akron. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's hard to get behind the Zippies, isn't it?
I can't. Akron's so bad every year.
We discussed an alternative donkey of the day, but usually donkey of the day is a little more lighthearted. Somebody we poke fun at, somebody that's done something kind of silly, maybe goofy. And we decided to not do it. And it's Henry Ruggs, which is just a tragedy all the way around. It's 360 degrees. It's the victim, it's the victim's family, it's the team, it's Ruggs, it's destroying his career for something that could easily have been avoided when these guys have more money than you and I will ever dream about having, let's be honest. And to not take advantage of rideshare or taxis or limousine at your beck and call, it's just needless. It's stupid. It's horrific, and it's a horrible tragedy. It's far beyond donkey of the day.
Yeah, we've mentioned donkey of the day for other guys who had DWIs or DUIs. The Mets GM who actually got fired, I think yesterday. You had Mark Few. Those didn't impact the lives of other people as much as you want to talk about the end results. Of course, anytime you get behind the wheel when you're drinking, you're putting other people at risk, but there wasn't a serious calamity at the end, so we could poke some fun at it. Ruggs killed a guy.
Yep.
So we thought that it was a little bit just insensitive to put that with the sound effect and all.
Yep.
For the victim and the victim's family.
Yep. So it's our thoughts and prayers is overused, but it's apropos in this case. Mm-hmm. Thinking about everybody involved there, and just
it's unfortunate,
just horrific all the way around. So anyway, and yeah, guys, I guess use it as opportunity for a PSA. Don't drink and drive. You don't need us telling you that because you've heard it all your life. But in this day and age, there's absolutely no reason to do it. None at all. It used to be for my kids. I told them, well, if you need a ride, call me and I'll come and get you. No judgment. And you always wonder if that's going to work or not. Sometimes it did, but in this day of ride shares, just fucking don't do it. All right.
Especially since you can just access it on your cell phone, which didn't exist when you were growing up.
Correct.
So you don't have to dial up a cab. No, it's on your phone. You can just search up an Uber. It's $20.
Yep. Do it. All right, buddy. So we do have some games tonight. First of all, we got the World Series. We got Game 6 going back to Houston. would appear the Braves have a little bit of an advantage when it comes to pitching because they've got their rotation lined up.
Do they?
Arguably their two best pitchers. Well, they've got Max Fried, and then they've got Ian Anderson if needed. They're on regular rest. I mean, that's where do you want to be in that rotation, bud?
Well, of course, when you lay it out based on the season numbers, that's where you want to be. I don't trust Max Fried.
Well, that's a separate point. But I mean, if you look at starting pitching, with Morton gone especially, they are de facto 1-2.
Correct.
So you've got your 1-2 going in the deciding games on regular rest. That's the optimal place to be. Now,
so
whether they're going to deliver or not, you can certainly talk about that because Fried has been just kind of hit the wall. He had 16, I believe, quality starts in a row from his last start in July all the way through the first game of the playoffs, where he took care of business against Milwaukee. And then he took care of business actually against the first game in LA, but he gave up 8 hits in 6 innings. So there was a kind of some signs of things to come. He kind of got a little lucky with sequencing. He didn't walk anybody, but then the wheels really came off the next 2 games, the game against the Dodgers and the first game against the Astros. So yeah, what Max Fried are we going to see tonight, Scott?
I'm just saying he got shelled at Minute Maid once this season. It wasn't even just a matter of a couple of good pitches that were hit well. He generated no swings and misses for the first couple of innings. So I am expecting him to struggle because I saw him struggle in the same building about a week ago. Now, Luis Garcia is a guy who has pitched better lately, doesn't really give you much length at all. I'm assuming he'll probably go, especially with the day off in between.
Scott?
What? Well, it's not exactly about the length. It's not about the length, it's how you use it. But the point is that since they had a day off yesterday, I think we would agree Garcia on short rest should probably go 3 innings tops. Is that fair? Unless he pitches well. Maybe he'll go 4.
And I would say, what do you got him at 60 pitches?
Give or take.
I think that's about right.
Until he gets into trouble.
60 pitches is the ceiling.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to insist on him throwing 60 pitches.
But the point is that even if he goes 2 or 3 innings, I think he'll have a quick hook. And that's fine with me because Houston's bullpen has actually been pretty good in this series. So I do think that with everybody rested, they'll manage to piece together some innings. Fried concerns me because Houston was the best team against lefties all season long, and they killed them last time out. Plus, I don't know if you want to buy into the Atlanta choke job narrative, but I do think that the experience for Houston will benefit the Astros compared to a bunch of first-time guys in the World Series who blew a 4-run lead in a World Series potentially clinching game in Game 5.
I think that will probably, if anything plays on their psyche, I tend to think it's hitting the grand slam in the first inning and not winning the game.
That's what I'm saying. I'm wondering if it's going to snowball.
Yeah, that is a great question, and you know they're out there, they're hoping against hope that Max Fried can refine his form. Hey, Nathan says he likes the first 5 under 4.5. I thought about that. I'm not positive both of these pitchers get out unscathed.
I'm not touching that. I think Fried might get shelled.
If I was going to play an under, I would play the full game, and hopefully it's 5-2 or something after 6 innings and the bullpens hold on. And it could go that way. Fried could be fantastic, but Scott, what it looks like to me is they're not swinging at the breaking pitch. He's not able to throw it for strikes like he had been in the past. They're laying off the breaking pitch. They're sitting on the fastball, and Fried, his fastball is a fine pitch, but it's not his out pitch. And if they can sit on that fastball, they can do damage. And that's exactly, especially with those right-handed bats that are in the Houston lineup.
The question I have for you is, of course, anything is possible. If Atlanta falls behind early, let's just say they go down 2-0 after 1 inning. Do you have faith in them to fully come back, or do you think that they start to have some doubt creep into their minds? I think it's a valid question. Because we saw Houston respond to adversity with the experience, going down 4-0 in the first inning. I don't know if Atlanta would be able to do the same thing in the hostile environment of Minute Maid Park. I don't know if they would.
I don't know that early they'll be disheartened, but if the game goes on and they're unable to mount any kind of a comeback, if it's 2-0 after 5, I think that collar starts getting a little tight. Yeah,
I do too.
I think you got to take a few innings, but yeah, I think it's too. Nathan says there's a lot of volatility in baseball. Yeah,
Definitely true. But
there's live opportunities, and there's opportunity. Like you could have gotten Houston at a fantastic price after the first inning, last time out. But
I live bet them when it was 4-3, guy on third, 1 out.
yeah, there you go. The under message, I'm in on the Heat and go with the Jazz, cover everything 9 and high. But yeah, I think they get it.
The Jazz is interesting because I'm not sure what Donovan Mitchell's status is because I know that he got a little bit banged up in the Milwaukee game. So I am curious if he goes, if he doesn't, how his team's going to look with him clearly less than 100%. But yeah, Miami I like as well.
Eric Jones says he thinks the Braves close it out tonight, win it 4-2 in honor of Hank Aaron, 42.
No offense, I don't think that's playing a factor in their minds at all. It's possible. I don't think they're winning I don't think they're going to win in 6 because of Hank Aaron's number, but I like the coincidence factor.
Some clever sports writer in Atlanta is going to say that when they win it, and we're going to say, dude,
how fitting would it be?
Eric Jones was all over it. He was
how fitting that the Braves won the World Series 4-2 in honor of Hank Aaron.
I hate to say this, wasn't Hank Aaron 44?
Yes, he was.
Jackie Robinson was 42, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, if they win the series 4-4, then it's in honor of Hank Aaron.
That'd be something. I don't even want to know what the natural disaster that would occur to make the series end 4-4. Because they played through an earthquake, bud.
They did.
So, yeah, you could see where the bridge collapsed and killed dozens of people. Like, yeah, we're fine. We're a couple of weeks. We'll have that bridge out of there.
But for me, I'm on Houston.
Yeah,
I know you can argue zigzag theory.
Yep.
If you want to actually make that case, then Houston should win this game because the Braves won 2 in a row.
Yep.
So now Houston has to win 2 in a row. But I'm not even going zigzag theory. I just like the spot for Houston.
Yep, I'm with you. I just don't. And we rode him so hard. He did so well for us this season. But I hate to dismount Max Fried, but he just hasn't shown me anything these last 2.5 games.
Well, even against the Dodgers, I actually got lucky because I'm pretty sure I had the race to 6 runs.
Mm-hmm.
And even though Fried struggled, I'm pretty sure the Dodgers didn't get there, I think.
No, I think they lost that game.
They lost, but I'm saying I don't know if either team got to 6.
It ended up 5-4.
It might have. I'm not fully sure, but I remember I backed Fried earlier and it actually worked out, even though he didn't pitch that well.
That game ended up. I'm looking here. Oh no, the game he got shelled against the Dodgers, they lost 11-2.
So never mind. I'm thinking of something else. My bad.
I was thinking, you know what? It was some kind of group delusion because I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking like 6-5, 5-4. That might
either way, Fried has struggled lately. Garcia might not give you length, but at least they'll pull him quickly. I'm not sure the Braves are going to pull arguably their best pitcher, even if he gets into trouble early. Do you?
No, they haven't. They haven't shown it. They haven't shown a propensity to do that. You see Fried out there in the 5th inning getting hammered against the Dodgers and against the Astros. So yeah.
By the way, am I the one who hates the Braves using 2 games with rookie pitcher guinea pigs in the World Series?
I don't know. No, I guarantee you're not the only one.
I get it worked out for
2 million people in Atlanta. 3 million.
It worked out for Game 4.
Yeah.
You score 4 runs in the bottom of the 1st. You really had to let Davidson go into the 3rd inning. You really had to. Really?
Maybe. I don't know. With that bullpen, what do you think? Although they pitched pretty well, they kind of rallied. Not as good as the Houston pen. Houston pen's thrown like 25 in the 3rd innings, 1.75 ERA.
Well, that's why I jumped in on Houston live because Davidson struggled. They brought in I forgot the order, but at some point you bring in Minter and Jesse Chavez. I'm like, what are you doing?
You hate Jesse Chavez, don't you?
Oh, I love him because I had money on Houston, and he gave up the blooper to Marwin Gonzalez. But I have found Snicker's bullpen use fascinating throughout the series, and
That's
not in a good way
to put it, isn't it?
And not in a good way.
Yeah, fascinating. You're crazy, Eric. You just did call me crazy. Over in the Canadians Red Wings, getting a plus price on that. What do you got any thoughts?
It's tough because Detroit they're both disaster teams.
I was gonna say
but Montreal had issues scoring earlier in the year. They've been a little bit better. Defensively, though, they're still awful. So I'll lean over with you at plus money, but I would be miserable betting on that game. So I'm not going to touch it.
Is that the attendance? 5.5?
I thought you were going to say 102 because it's close between the two.
All right. So it's a big day. It's the day that all football degenerates wait for, Scott. What day is it?
It's Maction Day.
It's Maction Day. It's the first day of midweek Maction.
Thank God.
Couldn't be more excited. First, we get the Fun Belt. The Fun Belt's kind of cool, but they don't play on Tuesday very much. So you kind of feel that hole in your life on Tuesday. You're like, well, you know what would go good here is some football. So instead of football, we have Akron playing. We have
one of these two teams will be playing something that looks like football.
Eastern Michigan, Toledo. Let's start with that one.
I hate Toledo.
Speaking of, they're dead to me.
Killed my damn win total.
I'm still pissed about the Colorado State game.
I can't believe Toledo's actually going to miss out on the win total because they didn't fall down at the one against Notre Dame, and they ended up losing in overtime to Central Michigan. They also lost by, I think it was 1 point to Northern Illinois, who's undefeated in conference.
Oh,
they've been right there for three separate games, and they blew all of them.
Yeah,
I hate it.
Yeah, they lose by 2 to Northern Illinois.
I thought it was 1, whatever. It was
right, but no, and that was I think that was a last second thing. I think Northern Illinois scored at the buzzer there, pretty close.
They kicked a field goal. You had a pass interference penalty on like 3rd and 10. It was a lot of just stupidity that happened. But oh well.
They looked good against Western Michigan last week.
That's why I hate this team, because they should be better than the record.
They were off last week. Sorry.
Well, their quarterback stinks. They got Finn, who can't throw the ball.
That's the problem. That's the deal. And the defense,
good.
Defense is still doing their job. The defense is playing well enough to contend in the MAC, but the offense just isn't getting it done.
Kopech has not been that good this year as a running
back. Eastern Michigan can't run the football, Scott.
They can't, but at least they know their identity. At some point, they'll abandon the run, so at least they aren't stubborn running into a wall every time.
I disagree. They ran the ball 40 times against Bowling Green for 130 yards.
Well, timeout. They ran it that many times because they won by that game by what, 50?
No, but they did have a substantial lead. But
what they win that game by, like 35?
31. 55.
I think game flow played a factor in the play calling.
You're right, but I mean they've run the ball. They ran it 32 times for 51 yards. I mean, they're not quitters, is what I'm saying to you.
They're not quitters, but I do think their pass game is decent.
Well, it better be.
It better, because they can't run the ball, but I like the under in that game. I mentioned how Finn I don't like as a quarterback. Toledo's offense is underachieved. The defense is good. You just mentioned how Eastern Michigan is going to be one-dimensional. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. Give me the under.
All right. Got a thought on the side?
A bias says whatever I take Toledo, or if I don't, they're going to prove me wrong anyway. So whatever I say for the side, take the opposite. I'll take the points.
Emu.
I'll take the points. I can't lay that with Toledo.
They're dead to me. They're dead to me.
I'm telling you, though, even though I'm saying I like Eastern Michigan plus the points, look into Toledo, because they have been a thorn in my side all year long.
I think the total. I'll just say this. I think the total's a better play.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what? I'll take Toledo. I never learned my lesson. The fucking Toledo Chiefs up there. I know we're gonna talk about the Ball State Akron game, right? No, is that what we got? No, we won't. Oh no, you're right. No.
We got basketball.
We went the other way. That's right.
I like Ball State.
Yeah.
Let's get that out of the way. Akron's not a real football team.
They're real bad.
Yeah.
They're a team that just doesn't do much well, and the defense is it's horrific. If you can run the ball at all, which Ball State, not a great running team, I think they should be good enough.
Ball State might be close to dead for the MAC title race. They're not officially dead, so they're still playing for something. I got to assume after losing to Miami, Ohio, they're going to try to bury this team.
Yeah, I'm with you. And speaking of Miami of Ohio, they're going against the Fighting Frank Soliches up there at the Bobcats of Ohio. They miss Frank Solich a lot because they're just 1-7 on the season, 3-5 against the number. On the other hand, Miami of Ohio. Okay, what do What do you make of this, or you make nothing of this?
I'm gonna back Blaine Gabbert's brother. I think this Ohio team stinks. We
Yeah.
faded them for a long time. I know middle of the season, early in the season, we took Lafayette. We thought Lafayette would kill this team in the middle of the week. Damn, that Ohio team sucks.
Yeah, they're not good.
What are they, 1-7 now? I think they're 1-7 or 1-8. They're terrible.
1-7 on the year. 3-5.
Miami, Ohio, actually been a sneakily decent MAC team. I think they'll get the job done.
Yeah, they've at least shown flashes. Ohio's shown nothing.
They beat Ball State. They beat Ball State last game. I got to be impressed by
that. I take it back. Okay. Miami, you mean?
No, I'm saying Miami, Ohio beat Ball State. So I actually like the form of this team.
Okay, fair enough. You want to address the line in the Titans game?
We can. I know without Derrick Henry, you got to wonder what the Titans are going to do. Is Tannehill going to have to air it out? I don't know if Peterson's actually going to be able to do anything for his first game with the Titans, assuming he's going to be on the active roster for that game. It's got to be Rams or pass, no? I mean, you got the Rams at home. Von Miller should play. I got to assume that the Rams win on Sunday night. You?
Yeah,
I can't back the Titans.
No, I can't. I don't. I'll tell you what. I like the over there because I think Tennessee's going to throw the ball.
I agree.
So
and Tennessee's defense, they struggled against Carson Wentz. I know that they had an interception touchdown and you had a couple of turnovers forced. Still gave up 31.
Yep.
I'll take the over in that as well.
Good. Anything from the NBA grab you? Kind of a short card.
Well, I know that Dave, the Dominator, commented that he likes the Bucks and Pistons under on the card. Shockingly, that's not a game that either of us have, as far as I know. So shout out to Dave for not going against one of our plays this time. I agree. I like the under in that game too. Pistons offensively might be the worst team in the league. They can't score the ball at all. Milwaukee defensively has been not as good as usual, but Giannis still a good rim protector. I do think they'll look fine there. Team total under for for Detroit. I don't hate that either. Out of everything else, I got to look at the Lakers Rockets under. They just played. That game flew under. I think that game landed around 180. Totals 216. I got to like the under there, don't I?
I think you do, and it's going away. It's a beautiful thing. It's going up. So
the Rockets are undefeated to the under.
Yeah, that's right. That's right because they can't score. They're a dreadful team.
Yeah, and I got one more question about the Kings matchup against the Jazz. Do I like the Kings team total under? I'm not taking their over against Utah. As long as Gobert's in the lineup, I have a hard time taking any team over against Utah. Sacramento is an offensive team that has really been propelled by Harrison Barnes, of all people, which has been relatively shocking.
Say that phrase again.
Yeah, as a whole, I agree. I go with Sacramento team total under. Utah defensively, especially at home, an elite unit.
Excellent. Cameron Brown, first time watching. Good to have you, brother. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. All right, my friend. Well, let's get to it. Let's do it as we do here at the end of the show. You and I put our heads together. We've come up with our very best play. If you had to put all your chips in the middle, this is the one, kids. Put on those overalls, climb on that John Deere, and get ready for today's version of Bet the Farm. Hey, man, got any more of them team totals?
Yes, I do. So we're going to look at a matchup between the Mavericks and the Heat, and the Bet the Farm play is going to be on the Mavericks team total under 105.5 at minus 125 on BetMGM. Couple reasons why I like the under in the spot. First of all, Dallas has been an awful offensive team this season. The Mavericks have scored less than 106 points in 5 of their first 6 games. Meanwhile, Miami has the best defense in the entire league. Miami has allowed less than 104 points in every game. Miami ranks first in the league in defense efficiency, while Dallas, even with Luka Doncic, ranks 27th in offensive efficiency. We think Dallas is going to struggle. Porzingis is not going to play. Kleber's not going to play. They're missing a couple of guys. But Miami defensively is an elite unit, and we do think that Dallas is going to struggle. And as a result, we like the team total under 105.5.
There you go. That's it. Dallas team total under 105.5. That's our Bet the Farm, and that is our show for today. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for being involved. Hey, come back and see us tomorrow, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow on Heading Back to the Window with Scott and Scott. Take care, everybody.